Coming up on Confidential, the storied history of the World Heavyweight Championship.
The physical belt itself was designed and made by a silversmith from Reno, Nevada.
It's like winning the Oscar in our business.
And has the WWE gone too far? From HLA to Billy and Chuck.
We want to taste good. We really don't care if it's in good taste.
Hi everyone, I'm Gene Okerlund, and this is WWE Confidential. What a week of controversy it's been here at World Wrestling Entertainment. Started this past Monday night on Raw with HLA, or Hot Lesbian action, and culminated with what was supposed to be a same-sex marriage between Billy and Chuck on SmackDown. There's been a lot of reaction, and in some cases, overreaction. Some have called it groundbreaking entertainment, while others insist it was gratuitous and grotesque. Tonight, we'll tackle the entire controversy, positive and negative. Vince McMahon himself will answer some very pointed questions concerning what went down this week. That's coming up a little bit later on. But first up tonight, the World Heavyweight Championship. A few weeks ago on Raw, Eric Bischoff resurrected the World Heavyweight Championship and presented it to Triple H. That had a lot of folks wondering whether it was a legitimate title, or did Bischoff buy some old relic on eBay and pass it off as his latest gimmick? Believe it or not, the World Heavyweight title is the oldest and arguably the most prestigious title in professional wrestling. Although it's new to Raw, the World Heavyweight title dates back to 1904, when George Hackenschmidt was the first recognized world champion. From there, its history becomes somewhat cloudy until the late Lou Thesz consolidated all of the world titles into the NWA Championship in 1948. In 1989, the NWA title morphed into the WCW Championship. With nearly 100 years of history behind it, the World Heavyweight Championship is an icon among icons.
This event, one fall for the World's Heavyweight Championship.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have a new champion.
The winner, a new World Heavyweight Champion.
If you look at what had become the WCW World title and you look at its lineage over the past 30, 40, 50 years, it really all started with the NWA. You look at Buddy Rogers is one of the great names that had that title.
I want to congratulate you and wish you a lot of luck as a new World's Heavyweight Champion as recognized by the National Wrestling Alliance.
There's just, scores of names that people all remember that, at one point or another have held that title. Big names, important people in this business.
A man that won the NWA Championship his very first time, Gene Kaninsky. Many consider the toughest man to ever hold the NWA Championship. Handsome Harley Race.
The old NWA belt, the one that Kaninsky, the Funks, Jack Briscoe, myself, Dusty Rhodes wore, was owned by the NWA. And whoever the champion was at that time had to put up a $25,000 deposit. When you lost the title, you got the money back. Old style respect was still in place, and it was huge. That was the deal, to be the NWA World Champion. There was nothing like it.
This is the greatest night of my life, and I can't thank you. Thank you very much.
Winning the title was there was obviously a lot of diplomacy involved. There was always politics at that level, but being the champion of the NWA was a huge honor because it was decided upon by a vote of 9 different people, including Vince McMahon's father, which is still strange to me that the man that owned the competition was on the board of directors, but it was a great part of the history of our business. Vince Sr. was so respected that even though he didn't use the NWA champion, his opinion and what he thought about our business meant so much to everybody else that Vince Sr. was on the board of directors.
This is Ric Flair, your world's heavyweight wrestling champion. I represent the NWA. This is World Championship Wrestling.
The WCW belt actually was a belt. The physical belt itself was designed and made by a silversmith from Reno, Nevada. Jimmy Crockett had it made. When he saw the NWA coming to the point where they were no longer going to be able to compete as a separate entity with the WWF.
When Ted Turner bought the company in 1988 from the Crockett's, who was at that time operating their business as the NWA territory. So that's how the NWA title eventually became the WCW title.
The WCW Championship, you know, it goes back a long way. It goes back to Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, Ric Flair. I mean, there's so much, you know, history in that championship.
My fondest memory would be winning the heavyweight title, you know, for the first time.
Diamond Dallas Page is the heavyweight champion of the world. I can't believe it.
We all know it's predetermined in the whole deal. But to me, when you become the heavyweight champion of the world, it's like winning the Oscar in our business. It means you are one of the very best in the world at what we do.
Finally, you know, winning that night and holding that belt in my hand.
We've got a new champion! Oh my God, Booker T's the world champion! He won the gold! He is the top man in this sport!
Knowing that, you know, guys like Ric Flair and, you know, Hogan and Rogers, you know, and those guys have, you know, wore that same belt down that same aisle and performed in front of millions of people. It was a great feeling and something I'll never forget.
Having the WCW Championship, you know, from Hulk Hogan, you gotta realize that was my first match.
And the Giants got the belt!
There was a lot of pressure I put on myself when, you know, I was first the WCW champion, when I got to carry the championship. When you've got the prestige of being the man, you know, and the man is the guy with the championship, you're the man for the hour. You know, if the houses are down, it's your fault. If the ratings are down, it's your fault. Regardless, because you're the man that's leading the ship.
The guy who sent down that ramp to get in that ring at night wearing the championship belt, and I feel that was the way it was when I won in '81 right up to now, was the guy the company felt could carry the company, lead the company, and make the people that are watching TV and in that arena believe that he is worthy of being the world champion.
Every time a company has done well, it's because they've had a strong champion. Hulk Hogan, WCW is a strong champion. Sting was a strong champion. Ric Flair was a strong champion. So, I mean, these guys set the bar, so to speak, for drawing the houses, making the money, and making the other guys money.
When I hear my name mentioned in the same sentence with guys like, you know, Flair and Rhodes and Rogers, for myself to be in there and to have closed the show out, finished WCW off, being champion, it's an amazing feeling.
I think you can ask about 99 and 10% of the guys in this business. It's just a great honor, period, to be a champion, and especially when you're called the world champion.
Do I like the responsibility? Do I like the prestige and the honor of being a champion? You betcha. Anybody in this business, they're not in it to be the champion. They don't need to be in it.
It is the most prestigious thing that anybody can possibly have in professional wrestling.
When we return, the WWE once again finds itself amidst controversy.
I would suggest that, you know, if some people think that the hot lesbian action was reprehensible, they may be right on the money.
Vince McMahon and World Wrestling Entertainment are no strangers to controversy. This past week, the WWE has come under scrutiny from a number of organizations and publications objecting to two particular and related storylines: HLA, or hot lesbian action, on Raw, and the same-sex wedding of Billy and Chuck on SmackDown. Like any subject of controversy, there's been a tremendous amount of positive and negative reaction. I gotta be honest with you here, some people are really PO'd about HLA. On the other hand, Billy and Chuck have been embraced as positive role models. Well, folks, it's been quite a week. Tonight, Vince McMahon is here to address the entire controversy.
I think our television program has to reflect what's going on in society, various parts of society, and there is no subject matter which we can't touch in one way or another.
Later tonight, here on Raw, Eric Bischoff presents HLA, as in hot lesbian action.
I would suggest that if some people think that the hot lesbian action was reprehensible, they may be right on the money.
Welcome, the lesbians! Do you want to touch, Tanya? So why don't you take that shirt off?
I think it was designed to be somewhat reprehensible.
Smack that ass. Oh!
It's designed to be shock television.
My body aches all over for Jenny.
It's designed to get your attention and say, how dare those people?
Oh, hey, it looks like you two really want to go at it. I'll tell you what, why don't you just go for it? Go for it! Go for it! Hey, Chili!
It's designed to bring out emotions. That's what we do other than entertain in the ring from an athletic standpoint. You know, hopefully what we do is we touch people positively and or negatively, as the case may be. Now, the hot lesbian action, I have mixed emotions about it. I think was fun until the physicality. Then once the physicality was apparent, I thought it was a bit much. I wouldn't think that anyone would consider what was done Monday from a physicality standpoint would be gay bashing, any more so than it would be septuagenarian bashing when we had Nate and Moolah, you know, who were in their 70s. Sorry, girls. As well as giant bashing, midget bashing, I suppose you could say, or vertically challenged, however how you want to say that. They did the same thing with Snuka in the garden, so I would suggest they're just equal opportunity offenders. I don't know why, but people in sports sometimes, or people in entertainment, don't view us for what we are. And they need to wake up and understand that this is a soap opera. And as a soap opera, we can go into any subject matter whatsoever. We're part reality show, we can do that. We're part rock show, we do that. You know, we're part Comedy Central, we do that. You know, sure, we'll do what Hollywood calls stunting and whatever, and come up with these publicity stunts and whatever to attract viewers and do controversial things on occasion. But you have to look at things in terms of totality. Do you enjoy World Wrestling Entertainment by and large? Answer, in all likelihood, yes. So if you enjoy it by and large, then on occasion we're going to do, you know, this stunting. We're going to no different than any other television program. They all do it. We're going to go into controversial subjects, be controversial. And quite frankly, it's fun. It's just that when you do that, you're walking out to the edge, and hopefully we will never fall over. I think no different than in the past, we need to be contemporary. And you need to address subject matters that are contemporary. We too should have gay characters. Hello, there are gay men and women in this world. Why wouldn't there be gay men and women in World Wrestling Entertainment? There certainly are, you know. So why not go there? Why not, if it's controversial and it's what people are talking about, why not go there? Why don't we have the same rights as every other television producer? I submit we do.
Billy, I want you to be my partner for life.
Yes! Yeah, he said yes! He said yes!
I'm really pleased with the way that Billy and Chuck as characters were first of all accepted as far as their roles are concerned. And that's a testament to a number of things. The way that the characters were written for, the execution from Billy and Chuck in terms of portraying that character, and also the audience. Our audience is a very sophisticated audience, and not a lot of people know that. But our audience was sophisticated enough not to go to the standard old faggot type chant or whatever, because Billy and Chuck brought entertainment value, you know, to their characters, whether they were gay or heterosexual, and our audience appreciated them for the entertainment value that they brought. For some reason, they like to pick on us, which is fine with me, as long as they spell the name correctly. You know, it's WWE. I don't know why, you know, a commitment ceremony in our venue would be any different because they're not gay any different than some of the characters on some of the other shows on HBO and on Showtime. You know, we see with Queer as Folk and programs like that. Bravo, of all networks, has on gay weddings. New York Times covers gay weddings now and things of that nature. It's like, hello, wake up. You know, we're not like the very first people, you know, to try things that are controversial. It's unfair to judge any television program on one particular segment or 1 minute out of one segment, no matter what is done. It's whether or not it's appropriate in terms of the context. And we think that from a stunting standpoint, from a publicity stunt standpoint, to get people talking about, uh-oh, they're going to the edge again, you know, to bring attraction to what we do, no different than any other television program, I would suggest it was very appropriate. When you've been in business, as long as we've been in business, and entertained millions of fans all over the world for as many years as we have, I think no one can really justifiably say that we're desperate under any set of circumstances. When you look back on the flow chart, if you would, of being a bit risque, we've done that in the past, and we go there on occasion.
Right, so go ahead.
Not every program is off the chart from a risque standpoint, you know, or a shocking standpoint. If you do that, then it becomes the norm and it's no longer shocking. It's only when you do it, you know, in the parlance of on occasion, that people really take notice, your fans especially. That's all we're doing.
Billy, you've captured my heart.
I think that people in television think that we answer to a different set of standards than they do, and I don't subscribe to that at all. You know, they would prefer that we're some sort of niche programming and we have a little niche over here and that's where we stay. That's not the temperament of this company. We're not going to stay in one little niche. You know, wherever it is we want to go, we're going to go as long as our audience comes with us. And whether another television program or network or critic or whatever likes what we do, I don't give a damn. As long as our audience, by and large, likes what we do. As long as the audience likes what we do, then we're going to be in business forever.
Up next, some of the great world heavyweight champions of all time.
Ric Flair and the WCW world title were synonymous in many people's minds, and in some ways, it still is.
To quote the 16-time world champion Ric Flair, to be the man, you have to beat the man. In professional wrestling, the man is the one holding the heavyweight title. The champion has a greater responsibility to everyone in the locker room and to all of the champions who came before him. It's something that every superstar takes very seriously.
Dusty Rhodes has done it, the winner, and new world heavyweight champion, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes was one of the greatest performers in the history of our business. And his love and his passion for our business made him a good champion.
Dusty Rhodes, loud and public, baby. And I'm here to tell you your coupon clipping, Copenhagen dipping. Sorry, I got carried away. I love Dusty. You know, Dusty is one of the most charismatic champions I've ever seen.
I always enjoyed the American Dream. You know, he's just always so entertaining. He's so charismatic.
It's a moment in the history of this sport that we will never forget. It's a career that goes on and on and on. Ric Flair is the heavyweight champion of the world.
Ric Flair, I admire him, you know, I mean, as far as being in this business, being going up and down the road and putting so many miles on his body and still wanting to be champion and wanting to go out there and perform at that level. He has been, you know, one of the greatest champions of all time. I can't honestly say that.
Ric Flair and the WCW world title were synonymous in many people's minds, and in some ways, it still is.
I remember the first time I met Ric Flair in Chicago, I had to go outside and take a breath because I almost hyperventilated meeting him because I was like, oh my God, that was, I mean, he just walked by. And I was like,
There's never been a man to win the world's championship who was undefeated. We got a new heavyweight champion of the world. The first undefeated man in the history of this sport to ever win the world championship.
Bill Goldberg is an example of what a promotion can do with a guy if they want to make a start of him.
Quite frankly, it would have been nice if Bill would have been a little more prepared. you know, a little more experienced and seasoned as a performer.
There's a guy that slid in, had the right gimmick, the right time, made a great impact, and you know, made his money, saved his money, and now he's in a good position. He doesn't have to work if he doesn't want to.
And a diamond cutter! 1, 2, oh my God, Page is a world champ again! Oh, I don't believe it!
DDP, title reigns in WCW, all manufactured.
I thought he was a great champion. I thought it probably came a little bit late for him. I thought Page, you know, worked awful hard and probably should have been champion a lot earlier than he got the championship, but at least he did get it because he deserved it.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one because we were such good friends and because I wanted it for him. And I wanted it for him, and I wanted it to work for him.
In his heart and in his head, he believed he was good enough to be there. That's all that matters sometimes.
It's over! Oh, we got a new champion! 9 times! Sting has done it! 9 times!
Sting turned it on and wanted to do what he wanted to do. There's just, I mean, I thought he was so exciting.
I never really got the sense that Sting was 100% committed, but I always felt as though, for one reason or the other, and I could never put my fingers on it, that he was holding back just a little bit.
Some of the quote-unquote upper echelon guys in WCW at that time really didn't want to give him his just due. I think he was not fully used to his potential.
The one thing I feel bad about for Sting is he never had a chance to work for Vince McMahon. He would have been, I think, one of the biggest stars in the history of the WWF, WWE. He had it all.
Hulkamania lives in World Championship Wrestling! It's the greatest day in the history of professional wrestling. The Hulkster becomes the WCW Heavyweight Champion of the world!
Hulk Hogan and the WCW title changed the fortunes of World Championship Wrestling.
Probably the greatest champion of all time.
One thing about Hogan, he has the magic.
Hulk is the man. You know, I want to sit here and tell you that he wasn't, but Hulk is the man. And I think everybody that ever doubted that found out at WrestleMania and a couple cities thereafter just how big Hulk is in our business.
He's still got that aura about him that makes him Hulk Hogan.
He'll go down in history, in my opinion, until I see something different, you know, as the greatest champion of our time.
Up next, Criss Angel brings the art of illusion underwater.
I have no idea what he's doing. I think he's crazy.
New York City's hottest nightclub, The World, in the heart of Times Square, has become a home away from home for WWE superstars in recent years. The World has hosted the season finales of Tough Enough 1 and 2, as well as the controversial and highly coveted WWE Golden Thong Award. One performer made The World his permanent home. He is master magician Criss Angel. Angel's hit show, Mind Freak, has become a favorite of WWE superstars and fans since it opened at The World earlier this year. Recently, Criss Angel performed a daring tribute to the late great Harry Houdini in the infamous water torture tank. It caught the attention of the national media and his biggest fans.
I got into the art of illusion when I was about 10, 11 years old. I got a magic set under the Christmas tree, and as most kids were, I was fascinated with the art form. Being able to do something that adults didn't understand was quite appealing. I'm going to be doing a stunt called Submerged, where I'll be underwater for 24 hours. Submerge actually was inspired by Houdini. I wanted to do something where I paid tribute to him, and in 1913 he created something called the water torture cell, where he would be placed into a water torture cell for about a minute and then would escape. I wanted to do it in a more provocative way for our day and age, and so I wanted to attempt to stay in there for 24 hours, which is the longest submersion of any human. There's no documented records of anybody being underwater for that long. On the 24th hour, my air supply will be removed, and I will actually attempt to escape 9 pounds of leg irons, handcuffs, shackles, and the physical tank itself, completely and around on Broadway and 43rd right here at The World.
He's going to seal himself inside a 6-foot tank of water in handcuffs and chains, and we're going to take you there as he goes in this morning. That's coming up.
I'm going to check the integrity of the chains and the locks. I'm going to make sure he's locked in there. So I guess this is my reputation on the line.
I've been training for quite some time. There's a lot of logistics that come into play. Everything from sleep deprivation, falling asleep and then taking water in could be fatal. People's fears from claustrophobia. This is a pretty small tank. It's about 6 feet tall, which is my height, 24 inches by 30 inches. So it's not a very large tank to be contained underwater for 24 hours.
What made you want to get into all this?
Just fascinated since a child, you know. Had a love and a passion for creating art and using many different paintbrushes to do so, and this is just a demonstration of that.
I want to ask Criss before he goes in. Criss, how you doing, man? Are you nervous at all?
I'm not nervous. I just want to get to it.
For the first hour, I was upside down. When I was able to flip over right side up, I just had to get into many different positions. That way, I wouldn't be in a position where my body would cramp up.
Basically, it's an ordinary scuba unit. It's connected to a bank of scuba tanks on a long hose. So it's a little different than what we use when we go scuba diving, but it's the same principle. It's ordinary filtered air, nothing special about it.
I had a severe headache the whole time that I was in there pretty much. Because my mouth and my jaw was only in one position for most of the time, it produced a very fatiguing position for me to be in.
I think he's better than David Blaine, in my opinion.
I think he's insane, but I hope he does it.
I think he's crazy, but he's a big boy and that's what he wants. That's fine with me.
I have no idea what he's doing. I think he's crazy. Does he get a medal for it?
I have no idea how in the world he's going to do it. I've been submerged in alcohol once for 24 hours, but I've never been submerged in water.
The one question I would probably ask him is, why the hell you'd ever want to do something like this?
I believe that in order to create really good art, you have to push your own envelope, and in turn, you're pushing the envelope of an art form.
I watched him for an hour and a half almost, and it was real interesting. He looked like he could do it.
Come about 4 in the morning. How's he pan out passing the time? I guess would be the question I'd ask him.
I'll be thinking about my greatest inspiration, which is my father, who passed away from cancer. The water clouding up and getting so murky, it drove me insane. It just made seeing so difficult. I couldn't see my hand in front of me.
The body puts off salt. There is, your skin, you know how much skin you lose every day. A lot of that in there is that.
You know, the main thing is just watching the way his skin changes. You know, seeing his hands in the tank, it looks unreal. It's like a rubber hand.
There was definitely the 11th hour where I got incredibly hot. A combination of all the lights that were on the water, my own body temperature brought the water up to over 100 degrees, and I felt like I was going to pass out. I immediately had everybody throw ice right on my back so that it would kind of shock me out of it and cool my body down immediately.
It's roughly about 92, 91 degrees. He feels much better. He just wrote a note to me. He feels great. So he's back to himself again. We got a little scared there for a minute.
The last 3 hours were just, time stood still. Every minute was like eternity. I couldn't hear anything, so I was completely shut out from sound. I then kind of lost the ability to see. My eyes essentially produced a fluid that layered over my sockets. People were bringing in newspapers saying that you're on the front cover, and it would press it up against the glass, and I couldn't read them, I couldn't see them.
The front page of the Daily News.
The ending was a euphoric feeling. I was concerned about my energy level at that time. I was sleep deprived, didn't eat for 3 days, and had to have the ability to get out of this thing without being able to see. I think fate was on my side. And when I appeared perched up on top of the cell, it was just a magnificent feeling. It's a moment I'll never forget. I'll savor it forever.
When we return, Tori brings a little bit of old glory to the land of the Union Jack.
That's so awesome! Do you think I could do it?
World Wrestling Entertainment is truly a worldwide phenomenon. Recently, the superstars of SmackDown were in Australia for what proved to be a record-breaking event in Melbourne's Colonial Stadium. Last Thursday, Tori Wilson made her way to jolly old England to promote an upcoming UK event, WWE Rebellion. Not surprisingly, it sold out very quickly, giving Miss Wilson time to take in some of the sights.
I was in London for 4 days and I did a lot of media stuff. We were promoting Rebellion, the pay-per-view over there. I have been to London no times previous to this. This is my first time in London. This is a cold day in England. In case you can't tell. That's so awesome. Think I could do it? We're here at Buckingham Palace. We actually are filming across the street because the police just kicked us out of there. I guess the Queen doesn't want WWE filming there. Trafalgar Square, it was really cool. This is Lord Nelson up there, watching down over all of us. Oh my gosh, look at the pigeons. That's so cool. I met some very interesting people there. There were some kids that were just dying to do everything they could to get on camera.
King of the jam.
And I met this really interesting guy. He was Muslim, I believe.
My name is Mohammed, origin Arabian.
He saw that I had a WWE t-shirt on with the stars and stripes on it, so he came and kissed my hand and said, you know, we don't all feel the same way towards Americans, and you know, we want world peace.
Love is good.
Yes, I agree with you, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for saying that. It was very touching, you know, to have a stranger on the street come up and say something like that to me. To be honest, after I see everything today, the most amazing thing to me will probably be the shopping that I will be doing at the end of the day. So much stuff, I don't know what to buy. I'm looking for some bra and underwear for my next bra and panty match. This is men's, obviously, but I think that would be a cute one for Rico, the stylist, because he loves to wear thong underwear. So right about now, they're making me look like a real loser because I'm sitting here at the bar by myself drinking a beer. My overall impressions of London actually were that it was a beautiful city, very clean. The people were all really nice. It was just really exciting. Great shopping.
Now that's a nice bit of crumpet, if I do say so myself. Next week, Criss Angel takes us to Colorado Springs in the Olympic Training Facility. It's the very same venue where he trained for his gold medal performance in the 1996 Olympic Games. That's all for this week. Remember, if you see and hear it here, it's confidential.